This is going to be a new moon in Pisces reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. You know, it's interesting. I wasn't planning on doing a new moon in Pisces reading right this moment anyways. And I started to think about the reading that I just filmed. If you haven't seen the weekly tarot and oracle forecast, you might want to take a look because the last card in the weekly reading was the moon card. And I forgot to put two and two together that the end of next week is the new moon in Pisces. And because that last card popped up like that, I said to myself, okay, we need to talk about that new moon because, well, we're coming to the end of the astrological year. Pisces is the old soul of the zodiac. They've walked many, many roads. And that's why Pisces tend to have problems with their feet, right? Because they've walked so many journeys. And there's a depth to them. There's an emotional and spiritual side to them that is really unlike any other. You know, I think that Pisces, they certainly have this beautiful spirituality, imagination, and depth. So I thought to myself, let's do a pick a card reading. Let's look at some of the energies. So take a moment and look at these decks while I'm speaking and decide which deck you would like to watch. Now, ultimately, you can watch 2, 3, just one. It's totally up to you, whatever's speaking to you. But I have a feeling that we're going to get some really deep messages here in this reading today. So deck number 1, deck number 2, and deck number 3. So let's talk a little bit about the new moon in Pisces. Like I said, this is the last new moon of the astrological year. There is going to be some harmony, yet tension, if that makes any sense. It's a little bit of a debate between the logic and the emotion, you know, and communication is going to be so important right now. Like I said, Pisces is deep, it's dreamy, it's spiritual, but I do feel like we're coming to the end of an era, and I've mentioned this in a few of my videos. I myself personally have recognized where I'm having an end of an era, and I'm wondering if you're in the same situation. Do you feel something ending? And I know for many of you, there are things that are ending, and that's not a bad thing. It can mean a lot of new, beautiful beginnings. This is asking you right now to surrender to the unknown and allow for ego death to happen. You know, what is the ego? Ego is wearing a mask. It's coming from a place of fear. And I understand the fear of the unknown is always going to be there until you decide that it isn't. So essentially, this new moon is kind of asking you to decide, are you in the old? Are you in the new? So one of the astrological aspects that's happening at this time is the new moon is going to be in a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is an energy that asks you to shift from the old to the new. You know, I always ask that question. It doesn't matter what the decision is, ask yourself, are you in the old? Are you in the new? Kelly of yesteryear would do this. Kelly of the new would not. You know what I mean? So I always say, apply this to any decision that you're making, because if you want to be in the old energy, well, then by all means, stay in the old energy. Wow, the camera's shaking again as I'm talking about this. This is so weird. Funny, I just filled a whole reading earlier with no shakes, and now all of a sudden I'm talking about this, and we're maybe that's the anxiety of the new. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Taurus is stability and comfort. You know, I love Taurus energy, but understand that, you know, Taurus will ride something through to the very end, even if they're wrong. And so this Uranus and Taurus energy in sextile to this moon is basically saying, you got to break free of the old habits, you know? So where do you need to make some changes? What habits do you need to break? What routines do you need to change and make new routines or new experiences in your life? So like I said, I hope you've had a chance to look at the decks that are in front of me here and choose which one resonates with you the most. Or decks, can be plural, obviously. So let's go and take a look at deck number 1, which is right here. I'm going to put these other decks to the side. We will obviously return to them in a moment. Now, for each deck, I am going to take some overall messages just to see what we need to know. And let's start off here and just get some themes for deck number 1. Cosmic womb, the divine feminine. Well, that doesn't surprise me. We're coming from a place of creation. Feminine energy, which is obviously receptivity, right? Is receiving mode activated. A time for healing. Healing your feminine energy. I know what it's like to be in that hyper-independent masculine energy, and it's not very comfortable. Let's see what else we need to know. The dolphin, listening. Wow. You know, the depths of the ocean, of the water, being in tune. How beautiful is that? Okay. So those are the themes and messages for deck number 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these cards to the side. And if we need them, we'll come back to them. Okay. So let's take a look at deck number 1 here. Let's see what's going on mentally for this new moon for you. Okay, not everything is as it may seem. Be cautious, dear one, for there is a story beneath the tale. Very interesting this would come out because Pisces energy is very dreamy and can often have difficulty using discernment. You know, there's a perception versus reality because of the Neptune influence. So again, you know, we marry potential, we divorce reality. You've got to make sure that you are keeping your eyes open. Okay, so mentally, that's important for you to know. We have the oak tree. Don't just look within, dive deeply into the eternal realms of knowing. A lot of depth here. You have to ask yourself, what do you know? What do you do with that knowledge? And you need to surrender. There's nothing more blissful than the act of letting go, of setting yourself free of all that doesn't serve you. Exactly. Okay. So, that being said, let me get some tarot. And let's look at what's going on in your heart space. What's going on in your heart space? The 9 of Swords. There is some worry and anxiety that's happening for you right now. You're not totally sure what's coming. You're anxious about it. And you might be feeling the urge to hermit yourself. The Hermit is Virgo energy, which is interesting because Pisces and Virgo share the same axis. What's interesting about this new moon is that you will notice a link to the full moon in Pisces that happens in Virgo season in about, what, 6 months from now? So fascinating. And also 9-9. Oh my gosh, 9-9-9. 2 and 7 is a 9. We were talking about 9s in the weekly readings, so you might want to go back and take a look at that reading if this is resonating with you, or you need to watch it again if you've already seen it. But essentially right now in your heart, you're worried and you might be holding yourself back, but you also need to clearly decide what you want. And there is the 4 of Cups. I think you might be sort of overanalyzing. Analyzing to the point where, you know, you're missing out on opportunities. You don't want to hold yourself back. And let me just take one more because I feel the urge to. The 5 of Cups. You're processing some grief is really what's happening in your heart. You know, I think just like this moon card said here for your overall themes, you know, this is a time for healing. And you've got to become more in tune with yourself. And there might be something that you need to actually listen to, you know? So let me just move these cards a little bit out of the way here because I do want to take one more row I want to look at what's going on spiritually for you. Knight of Pentacles. Oh boy, everybody's favorite. It's trust the process. Oh, and of course the camera's going to shake when I say that. Wow. I tell you, Spirit certainly has a sense of humor at times. And we have here the Knight of Cups, offering a cup of love. Trust that that love is coming in, or that heart is going to be full if you don't feel it is already. And the Chariot, there is victory. Onwards and upwards. Something really, really nice is coming your way. And there it is. There's the Sun. Here comes the Sun. Happiest card in the deck. You know what's interesting? When I look at this card, I'm thinking about that eclipse on April 8th. And that solar eclipse is going to bring some major changes. I've been feeling such a connection to that. That's where I'm feeling the end of an era. You know, the solar eclipse that we had in 2017, I've been feeling it. And for me, I can tell you exactly what that era is, you know, and I'm excited for the new. This is a yes card. And we talked about ego, you know, ego death. And essentially, this is us burning down the past and being open to the new. So please let me know in the comments if card number 1 resonated with you, or deck number 1, I should say. I'm going to put these cards away. And then we're going to go to deck number 2. Okay, so let me just take these. And then we're going to go back to the decks that I used for the overall themes and messages. And look at deck number 2. Now, deck number 2 is this beautiful one with the stars on it and the wishes. But let's get the overall themes and messages for deck number 2. Jeweled web, connectivity, making connections. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, what else do we need to know here? Luck is on your side. You're making some very lucky new connections. Oak tree, ancestors. You know, it's interesting. You might be getting some signs or synchronicities from past loved ones who are watching you and sending you beautiful, beautiful vibes. So again, I'm going to take these cards and I'm going to put them off to the side, and we'll see if any of those messages come through. But let's take a look in your headspace what you may be experiencing for this new moon in Pisces. And this card came out in the other reading. I'm telling you, there's a connection to the weekly reading. Candle magic. Everyday things get better. This might be a sign for you to light a candle. Maybe you need to light a candle for a past loved one. Maybe this is about lighting a candle to make wishes. I'm even feeling like maybe it's your birthday and, you know, you're blowing out candles and making that wish. But I assure you, everyday things get better. And the reason why they get better is because you get better. You've been working on your healing and your personal growth and evolution. Okay. Build a fairies. I can't make this up. I don't know. I can't even believe this right now. You've watched me shuffle. These are the cards that were in the weekly reading. Build a fairy house. There is magic everywhere. There really is. Okay. Everywhere around you. The question is, are you paying attention? The capsule. Oh, time capsule. Excuse me. The capsule. But still. Oh, it's a number 11 card. Brand new beginnings. I have the confidence to be myself. Whoa. I'm having like major deja vu here. Again, weekly. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Weekly reading. I talked about how lately I've been sort of recognizing, you know, there's this feeling of just being myself. You know, in those moments, like I said in the video, where it's like, you know, those moments you're sitting on your sofa with a cup of coffee and your robe and you're just being you and you don't even really care in the moment. You just sit there like yourself. You know, you're not worried what anybody else thinks or feels. You're just kind of doing you. And in that weekly reading, we had a reference in another deck to a treasure chest. So I have the confidence to be myself. I mean, you are the treasure. You know, this is again reminding me about the Alchemist book talk, you know, about where your treasure is, or where do you find the treasure? And, you know, very soon we're going to start the Little Prince book talk. My travel plans have changed. I was originally going to be doing the Little Prince book talk in April, and I think that we're going to move it to a couple weeks from now, you know, or a few weeks from now, maybe. We have one last Alchemist book talk class. Maybe we'll take a break for a week. And then if you're interested, we'll do a Little Prince book talk, because that is such a beautiful story. And I love teaching that book, and I'm so excited for that one as well. So here we go. Time capsule. I have the confidence to be myself. Okay, let's take a look then at the tarot in the heart space. What do we need to know about the heart space here? The Hermit, not surprised. Similar energy to deck number 1 in this aspect, but different deck. The Hermit, in your heart space, are you taking some downtime or some quiet time? Are you searching your heart? You know, are you trying to figure out what it is that you desire? Are you being clear? Maybe you feel the need to hermit yourself away from the world a little bit. Three of Wands. Three of Wands is interesting because it's saying, I don't chase, I only attract. At the same time, it can be an energy of sitting on the sidelines saying, I'll do this tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. And that really doesn't serve you. You're afraid to move on because you're healing a broken heart. Okay. And something has hurt you to the point where you're scared. I mean, 3-3. I'm filming this on March 3rd. And that new moon is on March 10th. So you've got a few days to really think this through about how you want to handle your new manifestations for the new moon in Pisces. Now, I talked about the power of 9. And there's a number 9 card. Funny, we have the master numbers 11, 22, and now we're getting 33. So very strong angel numbers here. Wow. And there's the 2 of Swords. Are you in the old? Are you in the new? Going back to the very beginning of this reading, I talked about the sextile of the new moon and Uranus and Taurus. Or sorry, yeah, Uranus and Taurus, pardon me. And breaking free from routine, the old you, right? End of an era. Let's take a look spiritually at what you need to know. The Tower. You're having a tower moment, and that's okay. Tower moments don't have to be bad. It just means like your world is really being shaken up. There goes the camera. Wow. I don't know what it is that shakes this camera, honestly. I live in such an interesting spot. Everybody tells me how great the energy is here, and it really is. Where I film in this room is such beautiful energy, so it must mean a very powerful spirit coming through. I know that sounds cheesy, but let's see. 4 of Wands, 11-11, new beginnings. Tower moments bring new beginnings. Look at that, 11-11, 22, 33. We're getting really the master numbers here. And 7 of Wands. Are you on the offensive or are you on the defensive? What energy are you in? Are you ready to make a move? Because when you have a tower moment, this is where you're really tested the most. Can you get up and go? Can you pick your battles wisely? Or do you fall back into old traps? Well, there's the Fool card. Trusting, taking a leap of faith, on the edge. You know what? I swear, very similar to the reading that I filmed earlier for the week. So, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look, you are connected, divinely connected. And I'm excited for you because luck is on your side. and you're connecting to your ancestors. You're getting those signs and synchronicities. This oak tree has a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of knowledge. Give yourself credit for where you've been. You've learned a lot. Hence why I was saying earlier with Pisces energy, they've walked a lot of roads. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you resonate with deck number 2. And I'm going to put this back. And then we're going to go to deck number 3. What beautiful messages today. Okay, so deck number 3 is this one right here. So you can take a look at the deck. I'm going to put it off to the side for a moment. I'm going to go back to the other deck here. Oh, sorry, that's not the right one. Pardon me. I got confused by the colors of the decks for a moment. It's this one. Okay, so deck number 3. Magician's Sword, confidence in your magic. Wow, you know, again, I can't make it up. This is, do your words match your energy? Does your energy match your words? The sword is about truth and clarity, confidence. Do you believe in yourself? Do you know that you can have whatever you want? There you go, balance, spirituality, and practicality. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier. So here's the thing. We are at the new moon in Pisces right now. 6 months from now, we have the full moon in Pisces, and that will be in Virgo season because Pisces and Virgo share the same axis. So I think this reading for you is going to sort of be a snapshot of the next 6 months, you know, from this new moon. But this is also a reminder to use discernment. You marry potentially, divorce reality. You've got to be very careful with how you see things. Are you seeing things clearly or not? Okay. Let's see. Cave, initiation. Somebody's coming out of the cave. See how there's like the water here and the depths, but then there's this light and you're being initiated into the new. You're going into the new era. Are you in the old? Are you in the new? And I know that you're getting truth and clarity to take you in a whole new direction. So again, I'm going to put these cards to the side and let's take a look at what's going on in your headspace with this new moon in Pisces. The hanging bones, you're seeing the signs. You know, a number 10 is a 1 + 0 is a 1. You're seeing the signs that a new beginning is coming your way. And it may be a little bit scary, but it's also exciting. Cloak and dagger, deception. This also came out in the weekly reading. And, you know, we talked about ego earlier, about wearing a mask, living authentic truth. You know, sometimes we deceive ourselves. We don't see things clearly. And that Pisces energy can do that. I know Pisces people very well. They'll often tell me that they are already imagining the whole story before it even begins because they have such a beautiful imagination. But at the same time, they don't always see the truth of the situation. They see it how they want to see it, not always how it actually is. And that's a tough one, you know, depending on your views of, let's say, law of attraction or law of assumption. I do believe in a combination of both, even though I know that might sound backwards or unorthodox, but we've got to ask ourselves, how about this? We have to ask ourselves about these signs. Are we making the signs fit because that's what we want to see? You know, I understand signs and synchronicities very well, angel numbers. I get a lot of people that come to me and say, you know, well, this is their birthday, this is my birthday, this is this sign, this is their sign, this confirms this and this and this. And I'll tell you, I respect it fully what you tell me because I've been through it. I could tell you so many signs and synchronicities that I've had over the years that do seem to fit, you know, a confirmation. On the other hand, having been through this journey like I have now, I recognize that these signs are just asking me, am I in the old, am I in the new? Am I trying to make the signs fit to what I want, to confirm what I want? Am I trying to control the outcome? Or am I allowing things to happen naturally and come to me because I'm moving myself forward out of the old? Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, so let's see what else here. Invocations, the power of words. This is my point. This card says, I recognize the power of my words and use them for the good of all. So manifestation in general, you know, do your words match your energy? Do you believe the story you're telling yourself? Do you wholeheartedly believe? Okay, so let's take a look then at what's going on in your heart space. Because in your head, you're seeing the signs. You're not sure if you're seeing them clearly. You have to recognize the words that you use are important. So let's go into your heart space here for a moment. Strength. You've got to find the strength and the courage to push yourself forward. And there's that lion energy, and I talked about that in the weekly with different deck. There's definitely a comparison here or a connection to that. It's like a companion. It's almost like a continuation, I think, to the weekly. There's the sun. Here comes the sun. It's a yes card. Your heart is saying yes. Ah, the Queen of Wands, confidence. Look at her. She's strutting her stuff. She believes in herself. Oh, and there's the King of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Well, I mean, being in tune with the emotions. I don't think anybody would complain about that. Oops, I'm dropping cards, but I'm gonna, well, I'll show them to you, but then I'll put them back in. Maybe these are extra messages. The Nine of Pentacles has been coming out a lot. The Nine of Pentacles is like feeling good in your own skin. Self-worth, self-value, self-respect. I've been talking about number 9 for a long time, or it feels like a long time in the last few days. Page of Cups is believing in miracles. It's like luring in the energy for you. That's very Pisces energy as well. Okay, let's go put those back in, like I said, and we're going to go to spiritually. What do you need to know? The Devil, you know, be very careful that you're not being held back and restricted. Could also be lust. If you're feeling very lustful. Let's see. Because I'll tell you where the restrictions come from. It comes from when you want to make the signs fit. You know, that's what holds you back. There's the Seven of Wands. I've seen the Seven of Wands. Now we're getting 7-7 again. In that weekly reading, we had like 7-7-7. Seven of Wands. Are you on the offensive or are you in the defensive? Are you fighting the shift? Is what you have to ask yourself. Or are you ready to pick your battles wisely and go into the new era? Eight of Wands. Your words, the power of your words. Eight of Wands is shooting your shot. It's manifestation. Being clear. And let's see what else. Four of Swords is about healing. You've got to heal those restrictions. You know, the Devil card can be restrictions, addictions, codependency, you know, all related to Pisces as well, with Neptune, really, because Neptune can be linked to illusions and to addiction and trauma, you know. So Four of Swords is healing that. So spiritually, we're healing that so we can have better energy. Well, I really hope this resonates with you. Very, very deep reading. You know, the Magician's Sword is asking you to have confidence because you are powerful. There is magic in the air. Balance that spirituality and practicality. And you're being initiated into a new energy. And I guess the question is, are you ready for it? And I think you are. You just have to put everything into motion, right? Emotion, energy in motion, right? Well, I hope this all resonated with you. Please let me know in the comments what number you chose, what resonated with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you as always. And I'm wishing you a wonderful new moon in Pisces.